So did you know from 2020 to 2021, more people were leaving Charlotte than are actually moving here in town, and they ain't coming back? Well, in this video, I'm going to unpack some of those reasons. So if you're thinking about making a move here to Charlotte, this might be relevant for you, and you're probably going to be surprised because they get progressively worse. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn all there is to know about living in Charlotte, North Carolina, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be the first to learn about the current market conditions right here in Charlotte. My name is Dean, and I get calls literally every single day from people just like you that are looking to make a move here to Charlotte, and I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving here, whether it's 9 days or maybe 90 days, go ahead, reach out to me, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, schedule a call with me. Or we can, of course, meet face-to-face on Zoom. I would love to make the transition for you and your family a smooth one. So I want to just take this moment just to ask you guys, where are you tuning in from? Where are you thinking about moving from to the Charlotte area? I'd love it if you just put a comment down there below, kind of get a gauge on where you might be thinking of moving from and moving to. If there's anything we can do, of course, to help you out, me and my team make that smooth move to Charlotte, nice and easy one for you. So one thing I hear that people are moving out of town from is that Charlotte has just grown so much. It's used to be a small city. Now it's pretty big, over 3 million people, but it's very, very car dependent. Now, if you don't have a car or if you don't want a car and you rely purely on public transportation, it has become increasingly difficult as the city is expanded and spread out. We do have buses. We do have a light rail, which we call the Blue Line, but the stops are very limited. And if you're going from one side of town to the other, it might mean that you actually have to catch multiple bus lines to get to where you're going. Now, I'm a big fan of the light rail. I use it quite regularly myself, but again, it's limited stops. It starts from the south side of town and it goes to uptown, which is great if you have a car because it's more of a park and ride situation. You drive to it, park up, jump on the light rail, beats traffic and saves time. But what if you don't have a car? That means you're going to have to get public transportation, a bus, to the light rail, to the stop, to go uptown. So again, it just really is becoming less and less convenient. The only saving grace is if you live uptown, the uptown area is fairly small, so you can have the condo, apartment kind of lifestyle and walk to and from work if that's where you're doing. But again, as Charlotte has grown, the way that you need a car and rely on a car is just greatly increased. So another thing that I hear that frustrates people and is causing people to actually leave the Metro Charlotte area is our traffic. Now, we have got roughly 3 million people in the greater Charlotte area. We only really have one main highway, and that's 77. We do have 485, which is the beltway around the city, which helps out tremendously. But if you're thinking that we have a population of this size with only one main highway, it can cause traffic bad. So it's very suburb dependent. So depending on what side of town you live and where you work, it can become very challenging as far as commute time. So if you're on the north or maybe the south side of town and you're working uptown, it can take 40 minutes to an hour. And if there's an accident on there, I mean, who knows how long the traffic could be for you to commute up and down there. And it also causes another problem. Since we've only got really 77 and the 485 beltway, what do you do when there is an accident? You jump on the side streets, the back streets, which is great, and there's alternative ways to get to where you're going, of course. But if thousands of people are thinking and doing the same thing, it doesn't really help the situation out. Sometimes it's just easier just to sit in traffic and hope that it lightens up here rather than fight the thousands of people that are jumping on those back roads here as well. So traffic has really become a problem here. The infrastructure really hasn't caught up with, let's say, the amount of people that have moved here. There's always a ton of construction going on. It literally seems like roads are always being updated, expanded, widening, which is a good thing because it's helping out the traffic. And of course, it's helping out the local economy, bringing new jobs to the area and to the industry. Of course, that's great. But as far as the daily drive, it can become challenging. So one of the most common things I hear why people actually move to Charlotte, if it's not work related or moving because of family, they need to be closer to a certain hub, It's really weather. I hear that all the time, that they're escaping maybe the Northeast and they want nicer, milder weather. They just really enjoy this. And that makes a whole lot of sense until the summer comes around. Now, when you've been living here for a while, you do get used to it, so there is some saving grace, but I'm not gonna lie, the summers are hot and they're long and they're humid, and they start around April and they finish around October. We can get an Indian summer, so it kind of trickles out into November, so they can be long and hot. And when you're in the middle of that June, July, August kind of summer holidays set, and it's like 95 degrees every day, hasn't rained, it's just the air's just sitting on there and you just sweat, and it can become a problem. No matter how long you've lived here or whatever, if you like warmer climates, the humidity does get you. And if you have to go outside a lot, of course you will do during the week, you can sweat. I mean, I'm literally sometimes going to an appointment, going from the house, the office, to the car, all AC. By the time I get there, I've been outside for 10 minutes in total and I'm already sweating. So kind of get used to that. So the weather can be bad. Now, on the flip side of that, we talked a little bit about the mild winters, which are absolutely fantastic and is a big reason why people come down here. Don't blame them on that. We don't get too much of a spring and a fall either. So sometimes it can literally feel like 2 weeks. We've gone straight from winter, straight to summer, and then back again. Sometimes we only get a couple of weeks of spring and summer where the weather is really, really, really nice and not humid. Now, of course, on the back end of summer, the humidity does go away, but for long stretches of that, the summer can be real humid out there. Now, as far as weather is out here as well, I grew up in England, so I'm no stranger to rain at all, but the rain out here is different. We get these, I'm gonna call them monsoons, when the heavens absolutely open, sheets of rain just fall down, the streets are just running like a river, and you think, oh my goodness. Now, the city does a good job of diverting all the water and has a lot of drainage, sewage drainer lines in communities, so it doesn't really cause a problem as far as flooding the area, but the amount of rain that comes down. Another thing is snow. We do not get much snow. 2024, our winter didn't actually even see any snow. I don't even think we saw frost, to be honest, but there is a couple of times a year that typically should we say, that it might snow. And if it does snow, the whole city shuts down. We're not equipped for the weather here for snow. I don't think I've even ever seen a snowplow here. I've lived here, close to 18 years now. I don't think I've ever seen a snowplow. The schools shut down, businesses closed down. It's like the whole city stands still, and there's like a quarter of an inch of snow here and it's melted by noon, and you're like, well, that was kind of an anticlimax. But yet again, schools are closed for like 2 or 3 days. So we're not really equipped to handle snow here. We do get ice storms, which is probably the worst thing, much worse than snow, should I say. It's exactly what it is. It's ice that's falling from the sky. It's freezing rain. It takes down tree limbs. It takes down power lines. So if you're living in Charlotte, some of the older suburbs that actually have the electrical wire exposed, it can cause a lot of problems and you might be without power for several days. The newer constructions, it's a non-issue. Everything is underground now, but for some of the older areas, specifically in Charlotte, they can be without power, and we do get rainstorms and some hailstorms that does cause damage. And that is causing some people just to leave the area. So another thing you got to take into consideration as well, and I hear this one a lot, is bugs. Anytime that you get warm and humid climates, bugs are rampant, and Charlotte is absolutely no exception. We have these horrible bugs. They're cockroaches, but we call them palmetto bugs. They're absolutely disgusting. There's nothing cute about them, even though the name is kind of cool. Obviously, termites are a problem, and mosquitoes as well. So what I would really recommend all my clients that buy, don't even waste any time. Don't even try and worry about it doing it yourself. Just hire a pest control. They can typically come around once a quarter. You can get them on a cycle. They spray, they kill. Them palmetto bugs, darn it, they don't die. They still manage to find a way to get in the house, but you can drastically reduce the amount of bugs by doing that. Termites can be a huge problem once they're in the property. So just make sure that you go ahead and have a nice dry crawl space in there just to get these termites so they don't even get nests. And there's bait traps you can do as well, part of these pest control payment plans that you can do with them. So definitely do that. Now, something a little bit more serious, spiders and snakes, yes, we get them. Snakes you'll see in the trails all the time. I hate snakes personally, but you kind of, I don't want to say get used to them because they still kind of freak me out every time I see them. But if you're out walking around in trails in the woods, you will see snakes. The only one you really got to pay attention to, and it's probably a snake that's least aggressive, it's called a copperhead snake. Very pretty colors on the snake. Obviously, I don't try and touch them or anything like that, but they are venomous snakes as well. I hear more about in the subdivision that I live in, actually pets getting bitten by snakes than actual people. Dogs will just run up to a snake and sniff it, try and be friendly, and then it'll get tagged. So I do hear that a lot. The rest of the other snakes, black snakes, yes, they do get pretty big, but for the most part, they stay away from you and they're non-venomous. Spiders, there's a few out here you got to look out for. The one that comes to mind is the recluse. If you do get bitten by one of those, you do need to get it taken care of. It is not a nice experience to get bitten by a recluse. But again, the bugs here, I mean, if you don't like it, it's part and parcel of it. I don't know what to tell you about that. If you're living in the city, uptown Charlotte, I mean, you're not really gonna see snakes around in uptown Charlotte, but further out you get, you're probably gonna start to see them a little bit more in some open spaces. So this has to be one of the most popular reasons people tell me that they're leaving Charlotte, and it's the school district. As Charlotte has grown, I'm gonna give it some grace here. As it's grown, just like anything else, the infrastructure of the school systems hasn't really been able to keep up, and it has caused some of the grades, according to like niche.com as a good example, to grade them at a B. So I think it's a B plus, so we'll give it a B plus, give it its credit. It's a B plus on the schools, but it's a developing school system. Even though it's older, we're still growing. New high schools, middle schools, elementary schools are popping up, which is causing people to leave the area. B, there's some school districts that are close by that are much, much stronger out there as well. So just take that into consideration. I'll tell you a little story about a client that I worked with real recently. They were coming in from out of town. He was moving here with work. He had 3 kids. One wasn't quite in school age at this point, but he wanted to be in a school district that was strong. So we really had to set up a search for him to eliminate the areas that he wanted to stay away from, to start to focus on those areas that had the stronger school districts, because it's very different in Charlotte. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District has different grades and different school districts within the district. Some schools have great ratings, some still on the development side. So we really needed to focus in on some areas that was close to where he worked that had a strong school district, which was very, very important to him. So if you're thinking about making that move and that is something that interesting to you, having a strong school district, I can absolutely help you, point you in the right direction and give you some ideas on places that you should consider. So when I'm working with my local clients that are selling their properties, one of the things that I ask them always is, where you going, why are you going? And some of the reasons that come back, if it's not work related, they're getting transferred. Some of the reasons that come back, they really surprise me, but the more I think about it, I guess it shouldn't be that much of a surprise to you. Charlotte is a fairly big city. It's 3 million people, but it never used to be that way. It's grown so fast, and a lot of people don't like the way that it's changed over the past 15 to 20 years. It used to have more of that small town feel, even though it was a city. It used to be more of a community kind of feel to it. And it's just lost that. As people have moved down to Charlotte and the city has grown and expanded, some of that small town charm has really been lost in translation. You really have to go to different parts of the city really to start to get a gauge on that southern hospitality that you're so familiar with and that you hear. Yes, people around here are friendly. They talk to you in grocery lines. They smile at you. They look at you in your eye when you talk to them. They shake your hand. People are genuinely sweet. People do walk here just at a slower pace. You know, it's not quite as a hustle and bustle. You get to uptown Charlotte, it's like any other city. Everybody's heads down on their phone 24/7. But as you kind of sprawl out just a little bit, you still get a gauge, you still get a sense of what it was once like. But it is starting to lose it. And maybe more people that are moving down here, it'll probably dilute that kind of charm even a little bit more. So what I challenge you with, if you are thinking about moving to the Charlotte area, the Metro Charlotte area, anywhere, you probably chose this location for a specific reason. Maybe it was work, or maybe you were just looking on a map and this is the kind of environment you want to be in. So I just challenge you when you come down, just to kind of come with an open mind, embrace the culture that's down here. It is a little bit different. It was a culture shock for me and my family. We definitely experienced it. It does take a bit of time, but just embrace it. You probably chose this place for a specific reason, and probably you want to be here. So go ahead, that's my challenge to you. So this begs the question, if Charlotte is growing like we know it is, and we also know that people leaving, where are people moving to? They're actually moving further outside of Charlotte into the suburbs. Now just think about this for 1 second. Charlotte's greater metro area is 3 million. The actual city of Charlotte is just under 1 million. So that tells us that people that live here in Charlotte, 2 out of every 3 actually move out or are living in the suburbs like right now. That's what's causing this big exodus out of the Charlotte area. And the number one reason I'm really kind of hearing is we touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's that community feel. Charlotte has lost a lot of that charm, but there's some positives to it. As the suburbs of people have started moving out to the suburbs, as new communities have popped up, as new shopping areas, restaurants, school districts have been built around new areas, new schools that have popped up, that community feel is back, and it is back in a good way. It's strong. So just take my subdivision that we live, my family, we have a pool here in there, we have tennis courts. People are very active on their Facebook pages, and the pool and the tennis courts, they're nothing too unusual. They're fairly common here in Charlotte. But the community feel that is right here in some of these suburbs, you really get a gauge on that. These Facebook pages, they have their own community pages. Lots of activities and things to do for their kids, really brings the community together, especially when you're in an area in the suburbs. It's new development, you've got your own shops here as well, so you don't have to drive too far. And you've got a school, very, very important, because then you find that all the kids in your subdivision, they all go to the same school, and these schools have got some really, really good school ratings here as well. So it really does build that community feel. There's lots of subdivisions around that I can kind of give you some information on, but where they have kind of like events, music in the parks areas, that they have food trucks that come around. They have open park areas where there's those inflatable bouncy castles. The music is one of my favorite things. When the trucks come in, you'll get people there that just camp out, have a couple of drinks, hang out with some friends, and just really unplug from all the busyness, I guess, of life. So these are some areas that have absolutely exploded. And just to name some, I mean, all around the whole city, if you just kind of draw a line around it, I mean, up north, you've got Huntersville. When you start to go a little bit further out east, you've got like Concord, Harrisburg, come down Waxhaw, Weddington, when you're coming down on that southeast side, and then it hooks up straight into like the Indian Land area. Then you've got Fort Mill, which of course is one of the most popular. Rock Hill is right below there, TK, Clover, Steel Creek area as well is another area that's absolutely exploded. So there's a whole wealth of options out here that if you're looking for that community feel, you want to be close to Charlotte, but not in Charlotte. You want to have the amenities that Charlotte offers, and we do have 5 professional sports teams here as well. So we go to Charlotte all the time, but we don't want to live up there. We want to be a bit further back, and most of my clients are saying the exact same thing, that they want that lifestyle that Charlotte offers, that great weather that we do get, the pools that we get in the communities that can actually help a little bit on some of those long, hot, sticky dog days of summer. These really do come into play. So there's some things that my clients have told me. This is not just my personal opinion. These are some people that I've worked with, known for years, that have given me their feedback, the ones that I greatly trust and value, and I wanted to share that with you. So if you are thinking about making a move to Charlotte here, I do want to encourage you to look at some of the suburbs that are around if the community aspect is really what you're looking for. So if you're thinking about making that move, I would love to be your agent of choice. Go ahead, reach out to me. I'm actually gonna put my contact information. I'm gonna pin it in the comments as well. But you can give me a call, you can shoot me a text, you can send me an email. And I do have a calendar invite if you would prefer to meet face-to-face on Zoom. Like I say, I would love to help you and your family out. So guys, I hope this video brought some value to you, and I will catch you on the next video. And until then, God bless.